great experience. So what we have to listen, what we have to discuss in the Mauryan Empire. So to understand any empire, you need to know some basic things. That is, some headings. What are the things to discuss? First, you have to go for that. First, we will discuss about the sources of Mauryan Empire, which are useful for the reconstruction of the Mauryan Empire. After the knowing the sources, next we will enter into the political history of the Mauryans. This political history, what is the political history? History of the kings. History of kings. Originally, there are three important kings of the Mauryan Empire: Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, and Asoka. So we will discuss all these three rulers in the political history. The remaining rulers were not that much of the important. Remaining rulers, they were unimportant rulers. After the completion of the political history, we are going to understand the administrative system of the Mauryans, how they administer the kingdom. This is also important. Next to social conditions, economical conditions, religious conditions of that period. How the society would be, how the economical conditions would be of that period, how economy and what are the bases of the economy of that period, and what religion they followed or other religious conditions of that period. For example, in the ancient period, there are three important religions. One is Buddhism, another one is Jainism, along with this Brahmanical religion, that is Vedic religion. After the completion of this, we are going to discuss about the causes of the decline of Mauryan Empire. How the great mighty Mauryan Empire was disintegrated. What are the causes for the disintegration of this empire? That we should know. After this art and architecture of the Mauryans. How the Mauryans, they followed art and architecture. Some constructions which were done during the time of the Asoka's period. Asoka, he was a great builder of that period. So now, in the Mauryan Empire, we will come across to this Mauryan Empire. After the invasion of the world conqueror Alexander on India, India witnessed a political unity under the mighty Mauryan Empire. Before the Alexander came to India, there were different kings ruled India in different areas. Like, for example, in the northwestern India, that was under the control of the Takshila, was under the control of the Ambi. And this below the Takshila, this was Porus, under the control of the Porus. And this is Pataliputra, was under the control of the Nandas. And remaining some Mahajanapada rulers were ruling of that period. But all these were not politically united. They are ruling themselves, independent rulers, not politically united. No paramount power ruled India. That means no empire was established before Alexander invasion. The Alexander invasion, it paved the way for the establishment of the great Mauryan Empire in India, which was established by the Chandragupta Maurya with the help of a great political thinker, Kautilya, or he was also called as Chanukya. So this mighty empire, it brought a sound administrative system in India, latter period followed by the other rulers, and also Mauryans, they opened a new chapter. Mauryans, they opened a new chapter in the ancient Indian history. The extension of the empire was very vast of this period. From north, from the Himalayas and Oxus River, this complete Himalayas, they extended up to the Assam. So north was the Himalayas and Oxus River, south up to the Tungabhadra River. So this much of the empire was established by the Mauryans. With the establishment of this dynasty, Mauryans, they attained political unity. That means paramount power. Mauryan power is a paramount power. Many kingdoms, they fell under the control of the Mauryans. Many kingdoms, they accepted the subdue of Mauryan Empire. That means they become Samanta kings of the Mauryans. Mauryans extended their contribution in the political, cultural, and other aspects. They fought for the development of the political history. They fought for the development of the cultural history. That means cultural contribution, political contribution, and social contribution was very, very high of that period. So to know about this, they also ruled like a civilized people, like Egypt. There we can compare this empire with the Egypt, Syria of that period, Syria Empire, Macedonia, and Ceylon, Nepal. These were contemporary kingdoms of the Mauryans of that period. We need to know the sources for the reconstruction of Indian Mauryan history. Sources are always two types. To reconstruct the Indian Mauryan Empire, we need some sources. Sources are the two types. One is literary sources, written evidences. Another one is archaeological sources. Sources can be divided into two parts. Literary evidences, like books authored by the different authors. Archaeological sources like epigraphs, numismatics, and monuments. Epigraphs speaks about the inscriptions. Numismatics, they speaks about the coins. Monuments, they speaks about the ruined artifacts. First, coming to the point of the literary sources. Literary sources again can be divided into the two parts. Foreign literary sources and indigenous literary sources. Foreign literary sources and the indigenous literary sources. First, coming to the point of the foreign literary sources, that is Indica. Indica, it was written by the Megasthenes. Megasthenes, who was ambassador to the court of the Chandragupta Maurya, which was sent by the Seleucus Nicator. Seleucus Nicator sent Megasthenes to the court of the Chandragupta Maurya. He was ambassador of the Indo-Greek ruler. Might be he was the first ambassador, Indo-Greek ambassador to the India. But the original book of the Megasthenes Indica, original book was not available. We are knowing only quotations which were taken by the Aryan, Plutarch, Strabo, like other people. They quoted, some Greek writers, they quoted the Indica book. So the book throws light on the city administration of the Pataliputra. It throws light on the city administration of the Pataliputra. A clear account of it, gives the clear account of the Mauryan Empire. And also it gives some information like according to the Indica, no slavery occurred in India. This might not be correct. No slavery occurred in India. This might not be correct. Because Megasthenes might not understand the slavism in India. Originally, slaves in Greek, they used to be banded with chains and banded at one corner of the house with nude like cattle. They used to tie with the bands of the chains at one corner of the house like animals. So Greeks, they used to treat slaves as animals. But in India, if you come to the point of India, in India, slaves are same like the common people. They used to wear dresses. They used to go to the domestic works. They also used to go to the field work. But the only thing is, common man and a slave, the only thing is, slave will not get any wages. He has to give forced labor. That is free services. Slaves, they would give free services. That was the only thing, a difference between the normal person and the slave. That's why he might not be recognized. And he also said that Indians are very honest. No thieves were found in India. According to the Megasthenes, no thieves were found in India. And according to the Megasthenes, famines have not occurred, never occurred in India. He said that famines never occurred in India. Famines are occurred. According to the Vamsistha Prakasika and Jain works, there occurred 12 years famine during the time of the Chandragupta Maurya. So like this, Pataliputras, it also gives the Pataliputras city administration. The Pataliputras city administration was under the control of the 6 boards. 6 boards. According to the Indica, king is a very hardworking person. King is very hardworking person. And also king was assigned a small number of the influence by the Council of Ministers. Criminal law was very serious. During this period, criminal law was very serious. One of the recognized punishment is mutation. One of the recognized punishment is mutation. That is removal of the any limb of the body. Removal of the limb of the body. For injuring royal artisan, the punishment is death. Here he also gives some important evidences. That is, the state also supplied army and also supplied the arms, equipment for the people. And the chariot was usually drawn by the 4 horses. One chariot usually drawn by the 4 horses. So broad sword, very broad sword was the principal weapon during the Mauryan period. Additional arms including javelins, bows and arrows. They used bows and arrows also. This is about Indica. After the Indica, there are some Greek sources, other Greek sources. In the Greek sources, Chandragupta Maurya, he was mentioned as a Sandrocotus or Androcotus. Sandrocotus or Androcotus means the person who visited Alexander. That was the meaning of name of the mighty Mauryan Empire, Chandragupta Maurya. Crimes were occurrences according to the Greek sources. Next, coming to the point of the Plutarch, he was a Greek writer. He was a biographer, essayist, philosopher, priest, ambassador, and magistrate. He expressed that Chandragupta Maurya met with Alexander. According to the Plutarch, Chandragupta Maurya, he met with Alexander. Alexander did not recognize Chandragupta Maurya. Whenever Alexander he made Punjab campaign, Alexander met with him, but Alexander ordered to punish the Chandragupta Maurya. Finally, Chandragupta Maurya, he expressed that he was a friend of Alexander. And Plutarch, he also mentioned the meeting of Chandragupta, Alexander. He also mentioned, estimated the Mauryan army. He also estimated the Mauryan army, that is 6,000 elephants, 80,000 horses, 2 lakhs of foot soldiers, and 8,000 chariots. Elephants and chariots always would be very less. This is 4 forces: elephants, horses, soldiers, and chariots. Chariots and elephants almost equal number, very nearest numbers. These two are almost very nearest numbers of the 4 forces. They maintain the 4 forces. After the Plutarch, next Pliny the Elder. Pliny the Elder, he wrote the natural history. He wrote a book called Natural History. He was a lawyer, author, natural philosopher, and a neutralist, military commander, provincial governor. And I said to you, he was author of the natural history. He expressed that Dionysius, he came to India from Greek during the time of the Bindusara's period. Ptolemy Philadelphus, a Greek king, he sent ambassador to the court of the Bindusara, according to the Pliny. And Pliny also estimated the Mauryan army. He also estimated the Mauryan army. Mauryan army consists of the 66 lakhs infantry, 30,000 cavalry, and 9,000 war elephants, 1,000 chariots. He gave these accounts. What was the use of these accounts? Actually, after hearing these accounts, Alexander, he did not invade on the Pataliputra. He gave geographical information of India also, Pliny the Elder. After the Pliny the Elder, Justin, he was a Latin historian, and he expressed about the Mauryan army. He expressed that Mauryan army is a band of dacoits. That is originally not army, it was a band of dacoits. Dacoits means thieves, just like a thief. He gave the accounts of the Mauryans rising to the power and Mauryans to be humble again, according to the Justin. Strabo also wrote geography, a book geography. And he was a geographer, philosopher, historian. He also mentioned that Satya and Amatyas of the Arthashastra corresponding to the Megasthenes 7 caste. Megasthenes divided Indian society into 7 classes. One of these 7 classes, Strabo said that Satya and Amatya, these two belongs to the 7 classes. And also I said to you, he wrote the geography. And he also mentioned about marriage alliances between the Chandragupta Maurya and Seleucus Nicator. Seleucus Nicator gave his daughter Helena to the Chandragupta Maurya. That information was given by the Strabo. Other foreign written records includes matrimonial alliances between the Chandragupta Maurya and Seleucus Nicator was said by the Appian, other ruler, along with the Strabo. Coming of Megasthenes, ambassador of the Seleucus Nicator to the Chandragupta Maurya's court, this was mentioned by the Athenacus, another writer of the Greek. According to the Hegesander, quoted by the Athenes, he said that Bindusara, the ruler of the Mauryan Empire, he asked Antiochus of the Syria ruler to send a sweet wine, dried figs, and a sophist, that is a philosopher. This information we are knowing from the Hegesind. Diodorus gave Greek account of the work produced by the Megasthenes. Arian also gave the accounts of the Alexander expansion and social life of India. Alexander invasion and social life of India, it was given by the Arian, a historian. And according to the Sri Lanka sources, Sri Lanka chronicles are the Sri Lanka Buddhist books. These Sri Lanka Buddhist books, they mention that mother of Asoka was Dhamma. Dhamma, she was mother of Asoka. And they also mention that Devi or Vidisha Mahadevi, she was wife of the Asoka. This Vidisha Mahadevi married before he ascended the throne, married at Vidisha while he was moving from Pataliputra to the Ujjaini. While Asoka, he was moving from Pataliputra to the Ujjaini, he married Devi. Asoka and Devi, these two got Mahendra and Sangamitra. These Mahendra and Sangamitra, these two were become Buddhist monks. So after this, there was an interval 4 years during the rule of the Mauryans period. Next to another book, Asokavadana. Asokavadana, it speaks about, according to the Asokavadana, this book, Subhadrangi was daughter of a Brahmin of Champa. Subhadrangi, she was mother of Asoka. Subhadrangi, mother of Asoka, she was a daughter of a Brahmin. That Brahmin belongs to the Champa. That was a story in the Bindusara's period. Subhadrangi, she was very beautiful. And whenever Subhadrangi born, astrologers, they revealed that they predicted that Subhadrangi would become queen and her son would become a great ruler. Because of that, this Brahman, he went to the Pataliputra, he dropped his daughter Subhadrangi in the court of the Bindusara. Finally, this Subhadrangi, she was made as a barber by the other queens because other queens, they were jealous about the Subhadrangi. Finally, one day, Subhadrangi made headdress of the Bindusara. Bindusara impressed that headdress, and Bindusara asked Subhadrangi, do you have any desire in your heart? Subhadrangi, she said, I wanted to become chief queen because my son would become the king. Initially, Bindusara did not accept it. Later period, Bindusara was accepted. This was the story mentioned in the Asokavadana. It also gives the information of the revolt of the Takshila, Asoka. During the time of the revolt which was occurred in the Takshila, Asoka sent Bindusara. Asoka was sent by Bindusara. But Bindusara did not give any arms or support to the Asoka because Bindusara did not like the Asoka. And this book Asokavadana gives the information according to the Asokavadana. Janapada Kalyani, she was also mother of the Asoka. And same, it also mentions the revolt which was happened during the time of the Bindusara's period at Takshila. Asoka was sent there. Next book, Divyavadana. According to the Divyavadana, Tissarakka, she was wife of the Asoka. One wife of the Asoka. Tissarakka, she was cause for the killing of Bodh tree. And Divyavadana, it says that Bindusara, he wished to appoint Susuma as a king. Susuma, he was eldest son of the Bindusara. Asoka was not eldest son. And Asoka was not legal heir for the throne. That's why Bindusara, he accepted, and Bindusara, he wished to give throne to the Susima, the young eldest son of the Bindusara. Another book, Mahavamsa. So Mahavamsa expressed that Vidisha Mahadevi was wife of the Asoka. That was also mentioned in the Mahabodhi Vamsa. Next, Asoka Sutra and Kunala Sutra. According to these books, Asoka was Viceroy of Gandhara. These books, they said that Asoka worked as a Viceroy of Gandhara. Next, Lama Taranath, he wrote Tibetan history in the Sanskrit. Lama Taranath wrote Tibetan history. He wrote that Asoka put 6 of his brothers to the death. And Asoka's life, he divided Asoka's life into 3 parts: Kama Asoka, Chanda Asoka, Dhamma Asoka. He gave 3 phases of the Asoka. Kama Asoka, who has desired to ascend the throne. Chanda Asoka, he was a wicked person. He killed many people in the Kalinga war. After the Kalinga war, he dropped his sword and he would become Dhammasoka. Next, according to the Taranath, Kamasoka is a phase of pleasurable pursuits. Chandasoka, phase of the extreme wickedness. Dhammasoka, phase of the pettiness. After this, Huyansang. Huyansang, who came to India during the time of the Harshavardhana's period. During the time of the Harshavardhana period, Huyansang, he came to India and he wrote a book called Siyuki. So this book gives the information of Siyuki, the records of the Western Kingdom. It also gives the information of the Buddhist scholars and travelers of that period. He visited the Asoka pillar. Huyansang visited the Asoka pillar at Rajagruha and Sravasti. He also mentioned that Mahendra, the younger brother of Asoka. According to the Huyansang, the younger brother of Asoka was Mahendra. Another person, Fahian. Fahian, he came to India during the time of the Chandragupta II period. Chandragupta II period, Gupta ruler. He wrote Fukoki, the records of the Buddhist kingdom. He wrote about the existence of an Asoka pillar. Existence of the Asoka pillar at Sankisa, which is the lion capital. That is Asoka's pillars. Asoka, he constructed many pillars. Asoka pillar consists of the base, column. This is a column. This is a base. And here there might be any capital. This is a capital. Like these are the parts of the Asoka's stupa. Next, coming to the point of the indigenous sources. How the Indian indigenous sources would give the information of the Mauryans. Yes, now coming to the point of the indigenous sources of the Mauryan history. How the indigenous sources give information to reconstruct the history of the Mauryans. First of among all these things, first was the Kautilya's Arthashastra. Kautilya wrote Arthashastra. Kautilya's Arthashastra, it deals with political and economical conditions of the Mauryan period. Kautilya, he was a prime minister of Chandragupta Maurya, that we know. We know already that Chandragupta Maurya, he was the founder of the Mauryan Empire. Kautilya, he wrote this book in the Sanskrit language. Kautilya, he was also called as Chanukya. He wrote Arthashastra in the Sanskrit language. He used the Sanskrit language. It is a comprehensive treatise on the public administration. That is political science book. It is a political science book. It gives the information of the public administration and also statecraft of the Mauryan Empire. It gives very clear and methodological analysis of the economic and political conditions of the Mauryans. So it might be the first political history book or first political science book in India. But political science book in the world was written by Machiavelli. Machiavelli's The Prince, it considered as the first scientific political science book. That's why Kautilya, he was called as Indian Machiavelli. Kautilya, he was called as Indian Machiavelli. This Kautilya's Arthashastra was discovered by R. Samasastri. Remember this? R. Samasastri discovered this in the library of the Kerala. In Kerala library in 1905. He also translated with the help of his brother Ramasastri. Translated into English. Arthashastra was translated into English by R. Samasastri with the help of Ramasastri's brother. So this book, Kautilya's Arthashastra, it also mentioned about the concept of Chakravarti Kshetra. Concept of the Chakravarti Kshetra. Amatyas and other high officials were to be appointed after the certain test. They would give some test for the appointment of different people. Love test, fear test, money test. While they are moving, suppose some people were selected. These selected while they are moving on the place, suddenly they would look at gold coins. Some gold coins will be there. They should not touch the gold coins. And while they are sleeping in the night, mid of the night, some beautiful girls will be beside of that person. He should not touch. That was the test of love test. And fear test. Some fear tests were also conducted. Like this, he introduced different types of the testings for the appointment of the higher officials. The whole book of this divided into 15 volumes or 15 adhikaranas, 150 chapters. They are 15 chapters. Each adhikarana has 10, that is 15. 150. 15 into 10, 150. Each adhikarana has 10 chapters. The whole book consists of the 180 sub-chapters also, or prakaranas, and 6,000 verses. Verses means some paragraphs. So we will know some list of the books, what they give. Book number 1, it deals with the kingship. Book number 1 deals with the kingship, duties of the king, functions of the king, what are the duties and functions king should perform. Second book is civil administration, how to give the administrative system and welfare of the people. Third is administrative law and justice. Fourth volume, it gives about the control of the crime. And it also gives that king should be very serious. King should be very serious among the implementation of law. If he was very serious among the implementation of law, then only he will become a great king. And volume 6, it gives the information of quarters of the king and salaries of the officials. According to this book, higher officials like Senapati, he used to take 48,000 panas, but he did not given whether it is for the month or for the year. Sixth book, it speaks about the foreign policy. How would be maintained the foreign policy by the king? And volume 7, it is mentioned about the use of foreign policy, theory of the foreign policy, and also use of the foreign policy. And 8th, mentioned about the calamities and measurements for the disaster. He also mentioned about the measurements, how to take the measurements for the disaster. Volume 9, it gives about the war preparations, warfare techniques. Volume 10, main battle camp, how the camps would be for the main wars. Volume 11, it speaks about how conqueror should tackle oligarchies. And volume 12, frustration of weak king threatened by the strong king. Volume 13, conquest of enemy fort. Volume 14, secret and occult practices. Black magic, that is secret and occult practices means black magic. It is about the black magic. And volume 15, logical techniques used in the work. If you want to finish a work within short period, you have to show some logical thinking. All these are the different books of the Arthashastra of Kautilya. The next book was Mudra Rakshasam, which was written by the Visakadatta during the time of the Gupta's period. This book gives the accounts of the Chandragupta Maurya, and also this book gives the the relationship between the Nandas and the Chandragupta Maurya. Mauryas, they have illegitimate relationship with the Nandas according to the Mudra Rakshasa. And also this book gives the account of the Chandragupta Maurya, how he defeated Nandas and how Chanakya helped to the Chandragupta Maurya. After this, Rajatarangini. Rajatarangini, the book was written by the Kalhana. Rajatarangini book was written by the Kalhana. It speaks about Jammu Kashmir rulers. According to the Rajatarangini, Sakum was the great grandfather of Asoka. Sakum. According to the Rajatarangini, Jaluka was successor of the Asoka. Jaluka. He was successor of the Asoka in Jammu and Kashmir. This book also says that Kashmir was constructed by the Srinagar, the capital of the Kashmir, Srinagar. It was constructed by the Asoka, according to the Rajatarangini book. Next, coming to the point of the Puranas. Puranas reveals us that the list of the Mauryan kings at chronology. They reveal the kings of the Mauryans, and also they reveal the chronology of the Mauryans. Mauryan Empire and its decline significance also mentioned in the Puranas. The Puranas also mentioned about the uprooting the Nandas by Brahmana Kautilya. Mauryan dynasty, according to the Puranas, Mauryan dynasty lasted for 137 years. 137 years. There was no interregnum. according to the Puranas. Bruhadrada, the last Mauryan king, who was dead while inspecting an army parade. While Bruhadrada was inspecting the army parade, he was killed by the Pushyamitra Sunga while he was receiving the army parade. Next, after this, Jain sources. Jain sources, before the date of the Chandragupta Maurya, the date of succession of the Chandragupta Maurya, Jain sources like Kalpa Sutra. Kalpa Sutra was written by the Bhadrabahu. Parishishta Parvan, it was written by the Hemachandra. Bhadrabahu Charitra, these books, they give the life and activities of the Chandragupta Maurya. Parishishta Parvan of the Hemachandra, it is also called as Stavirali Charitra. Stavirali Charitra or Parishishta Parvan of Hemachandra, it informed that early life and conquest of the Magadha, conversion of Chandragupta Maurya into the Jainism. According to the Parishishta Parvan, which was written by the Hemachandra, it revealed that Chandragupta Maurya, he received the Jainism. Conversion of the Chandragupta Maurya to the Jainism, abdication of his throne to his son. According to the Parishishta Parvan, he abdicated his throne to the son and he went to the Shravanabelgola. That was revealed by the Parishishta Parvan. Next, Buddhist sources. How Buddhist sources are giving information for the reconstruction of the history. Buddhist sources mainly Jatakas. Jataka tales of Buddha. They gives about the social and economical conditions of the Mauryans. Jataka stories of Buddha's previous life give the information about the socio-economic life during the Mauryan period. Buddhist tradition, they also mention that Mauryans as Kshatriyas. They belong to the Pippilivana. Mauryans belong to the Pippilivana. In Pippilivana, they were chiefs of the clan. Chief of the clan. Chief of the clan means king. They belong to the Kshatriya family. Asokavadana and Divyavadana give information about the Bindusara and Asoka's expedition to the Takshila to suppress the rebellions. The succession of the rebellions by Asoka during the time of the Bindusara's period at Takshila, thus that information was given by the Asokavadana and Divyavadana. These are the Buddhist chronicles. So these two mentioned about the Mauryans belongs to Maurya clan, Pippilivana. They belong to the Pippilivana. Milinda Panho, a Buddhist book, it speaks that Nanda army commanded by its general called Bhaddasala. They gave the information of the Bhaddasala. Bhaddasala was the army general of Nandas. Next book, Diganikaya. Diganikaya, it speaks about influence of Buddhist ideas on the Mauryan polity. Mauryan polity was influenced by the Buddhist ideology. We are knowing from Diganikaya. Next, Deepavamsa, Mahavamsa. They speaks about the role of Asoka in spreading Buddhism to Sri Lanka. According to the many historians, Asoka was the first ruler who started to spread Buddhism outside India. Asoka was the first Indian ruler who sent Buddhist missionaries to the outside India. He fought for the sending Buddhist missionaries. He fought for the spreading Buddhism outside India. And Deepavamsa, Mahavamsa also, they reveal that Asoka killed 99 brothers. He left only one brother called Tissa. Because Tissa and Asoka born to the same mother. And Tissa, he became Buddhist. That's why Asoka did not kill the Tissa. According to the Deepa Vamsa and Mahavamsa, Mahindra was the illegitimate son of Asoka. Not direct son, it was an illegitimate son. That means illegal son. According to the Deepa Mahavamsa, Asoka was Ujjaini, Viceroy of Ujjain. Asoka killed 99 brothers and he spared Tissa according to the Mahavamsa. Just now I told to you. Deepavamsa and Mahavamsa, these two are the Ceylon chronicles. They gave detailed description of the role played by the Asoka spreading Buddhism. How Asoka role played spreading Buddhism to the Ceylon. So next, the information about the Mauryans, origin of the Mauryans, we can know from the Mahavamsatika. That is Mahavamsatika. It was a commentary on the Mahavamsa. It revealed that the information of the origin of Mauryans. Buddhist texts like Jatakas reveals the economic conditions, socio-economic conditions of the Mauryans period. And Mahavamsa, Deepavamsa throws light on the Asoka spreading Buddhism outside the India, that is Sri Lanka. Divyavadana, a Tibetan text, it gives the information about Asoka, how he spent his life, how he gave effort to spread of the Buddhism outside India. Next, another one is Dharma Sutras. Dharma Sutras, they are also called as elements of the customary law. They contains rudiments of legislative literature. Avadan of Asoka is a Buddhist text containing cycle of legends about the king. Next, decline of Mauryans. We are knowing from the decline of Mauryans, H.P. Sastri. Decline of the Mauryans, we are also knowing from the D.D. Kosambi. According to the H.P. Sastri, Brahmanical reaction was the cause for the decline of Mauryans. But D.D. Kosambi, what he said, according to the D.D. Kosambi, Mauryans, they declined because of the pressure on economy pressure. Rai Chaudhary, he said that Asoka's fascist policies are the cause for the decline of Mauryans. But what Romilla Thapar says, Romilla Thapar said that due to the absence of national unity, bureaucracy and administrative system, centralized the empire, Mauryan empire was declined. So these are the sources to know about the history of the Mauryans. Now we completed sources, literary sources. Next we will come into the archaeological sources. So that we will discuss now.